Her name was Sue N, nicknamed Little Sunshine of Quotes. She was born a social butterfly, shameless as a brick wall. Yet her pockets were emptier than her face was thick. His name was Lin Jingzhou. Worth billions yet sealed off like a mystery, carrying an icy aura that screamed, "Do not approach." Two people who shouldn't have crossed paths, yet thanks to the word poor, they ended up stuck together on the same reality show. Who's the real billionaire? This rent increase is insane. Su Nen frowned at the contract. The rent for the next 6 months was 5,000 more than before. Arms crossed and legs propped up, Madame Jean gave her a cold glance. Everything's getting pricier now, don't like it. Leave. This place is prime real estate, plenty of people waiting to rent it. The lease ended today, that if she didn't agree to the new price, she'd be on the streets by nightfall. The landlord clearly thought she'd cave. But Su Nen knew exactly what was going on. The landlady was timing it perfectly to bleed her dry. But come on, she was Su Nen. If she was broke enough, no one could squeeze a dime out of her. Especially since she'd just been laid off, her wallet was emptier than her bank account. Fine, then I'm not renting. She tossed the contract onto the table and briskly packed up her things. 30 minutes later, Su Nen pulled her suitcase out of the apartment. The door slammed shut behind her, and from across the hall came a woman's furious shouting. No money and still trying to rent. You think being handsome means you can live rent-free? I'm not some naive 18-year-old girl. Grab your luggage and get out, stop wasting my time. Curious, Su Nen turned her head, just as the door across the hall swung open. A tall man stepped out, dragging his suitcase that he looked barely 20 with pale skin and a brooding face. But his eyes were sharp and distant, his aura cold and oppressive, like a young master owed billions. The moment Su Nen's gaze met his, her heart skipped a beat. To break the awkward silence, she cautiously asked, "Did your landlord raise the rent last minute too so you couldn't pay?" Lin Jingzhou pulled back his gaze and replied flatly, "No." Su Nen nodded to herself. That meant he was really broke. Worse off than her. A face like a young master, but a fate that didn't match. "Then were you about to use your looks as a bargaining chip?" she teased. Lin Jingzhou shot her a sideways glance, staying silent for a beat as if the question wasn't worth answering. "I said I'll pay the rent within a month," he stated coldly. Su Nen stared at his outrageously handsome face and offered seriously, "That's just stalling. Honestly, the pretty boy card might work better." This time Lin Jingzhou didn't even bother looking at her. With one hand in his pocket, he stepped into the elevator as though even speaking had drained his energy. The two of them ended up walking down the street, each dragging a suitcase, both kicked out for not being able to pay rent. Yet with their striking looks and refined aura, they didn't look pitiful at all. Rather than homeless, they looked more like a young master and heiress about to set off on a world tour. Just then, a chubby man walked over with a wide grin. "Hey, you two interested in joining a reality show? One that could make you famous overnight? There's even a chance to win $1 million in cash." Su Nen couldn't care less about the first part, but the word million hit her like a lightning bolt. She reached out and tugged lightly at Lin Jingzhou's sleeve. Her eyes lit up as she stared at the back of his head. $1 million in cash. Lin Jingzhou felt the small tug and stopped, his face cold and detached as if saying, "What's this got to do with me?" But Su Nen couldn't hide her excitement. "He sighed us." Lin Jingzhou almost laughed, giving the man a quick once-over. "And you actually believe a scammer?" The next second, Su Nen's words left him speechless. "What's there to scam? We're broke. There's nothing to steal." She even leaned close to his ear, whispering, "Besides, everything we own isn't worth as much as that watch on his wrist. If he really tries to scam us, we'll just grab the watch and run." Lin Jingzhou didn't know whether to call her bold, reckless, or simply naive. He sighed. "Aren't you afraid he'll trick you into some human trafficking scheme and you won't even get the chance to run? Isn't that what you're here for?" "Hold on, since when did I get tied to you?" Su Nen patted his shoulder. "Our fate's no joke. We've known each other less than 10 minutes, yet we're both homeless and broke. And now, $1 million prize dangled before them. She felt it was destiny, a sign they'd climb to the top together. The man with glasses saw them whispering and thought, "Got them. Look, your luggage is already packed. Isn't this fate? Sign the contract and I'll take you straight to a mansion, fine dining every day, and a shot at $1 million in cash." To Lin Jingzhou, though, the more he listened, the more it sounded like a pyramid scheme. Su Enen's eyes curved in a playful smile as she stretched out her hand. Partner, want to join? Lin Jingzhou turned his gaze to the man with glasses and asked coolly, what show? The man replied with a grin, who's the real billionaire? Su Enen's smile froze instantly. Well, it's definitely not me. And the man next to her. No way either. The show's title had nothing to do with them. That $1 million prize was about to slip right past. The man with glasses noticed her disappointment and quickly explained, no worries. All you have to do is pretend to be rich. The show invites 4 groups of contestants. Only one is truly wealthy, and in the end the audience votes on who they think the real billionaires are. If they pull off the disguise and fool everyone, they'll walk away with the $1 million prize. Su Enen instantly caught on, her eyes lighting up. So basically just fake it. The man chuckled, nodding. Exactly. Plus, the show gives each fake billionaire team 100,000 in startup funds. Even if you get exposed, that 100 grand counts as your pay for 5 days. At that, Su Enen's eyes lit up like spotlights, excitement written all over her face. She inched closer to Lin Jingzhou, lowering her voice. If we save that 100 grand carefully, even if we don't win the prize, we'll still walk away with the money that there's no way to lose. Lin Jingzhou glanced at her but stayed silent. The man with glasses handed them the fake billionaire identity contract and introduced himself. I'm Zhang Kai, the show's assistant director. Welcome aboard. Lin Jingzhou read through every clause carefully, then signed his name without hesitation. When Su Enen leaned in to sign, her eyes caught his signature. So your name's Lin Jingzhou, huh? Sounds nice. Zhang Kai blinked, his gaze shifting between them. Wait, you two don't know each other. I thought you were a couple. Su Enen instinctively turned to look at Lin Jingzhou's poker face. Her eyes filled with disdain. She couldn't imagine this stone-faced man in a relationship. He'd definitely be boring. Sa boyfriend. No way. Sa partner. Maybe acceptable. Seeing no further questions, Zhang Kai tucked away the contract and handed over a bank card. Here's your 100,000. Password. 192837. The show starts in 3 days. Use the time to polish your image. After Zhang Kai left, the two of them headed to a nearby cafe. Lin Jingzhou leaned back on the sofa, one leg casually crossed over the other. His posture looked relaxed, yet somehow carried the air of untouchable wealth. Su Enen studied his imposing aura and suddenly felt like half that $1 million was already in her pocket. She asked quietly, so how do we split this card? Divide it now or later? Lin Jingzhou replied lazily, keep it with you. We'll settle after the show. Su Enen raised her coffee cup, negotiating seriously. If we win the $1 million, 50-50. If we lose, this 100 grand splits 50-50, 50,000 each. Deal? Lin Jingzhou gave a faint nod, agreeing. 3 days later, the show went live. The internet blew up like fireworks. Who's the real billionaire? Was finally on air. The comment section exploded. Finally. Time for my genius brain to analyze who's the real rich one. Wait, there's actually a show where you can win $1 million just by pretending to be rich. That's insane, but I love it. Who's dumb enough to sponsor this ridiculous show? Probably all fake anyway. But hey, sponsors only care about traffic, right? Just as netizens were arguing non-stop, the live stream cut to a sleek black car pulling up. The doors opened and a man and woman stepped out, so dazzling it almost blinded the viewers. The man wore a tailored gray suit, while the woman stunned in a white gown, a sapphire necklace glittering at her throat. Luxurious, elegant. She looked every bit the heiress. The woman smiled. Hello everyone, I'm Elon and this is my boyfriend Xiao Yi. Zhang Kai teased from the sidelines. So you're a couple. No wonder you two look perfect together even from afar. The comment section erupted. These two are gorgeous. So sweet. Feels a little over the top. Honestly, they don't look like true billionaires. More like successful business owners. Before the chatter settled, a blue sports car roared into frame with a thunderous engine. The car doors lifted dramatically. Out stepped Fu Wan, curves, confidence, and a smirk edged with arrogance beside her. Fu Yu blazed in a bright blue suit, strutting like a peacock showing off its feathers. Fu Yu announced, hello everyone, I'm Fu Yu and this is my sister, Fu Wan. The comments lit up again. Okay, the sibling visuals are insane. Though the brother's style is unique. The sister definitely has the heiress vibe, her arrogance looks natural. And that bag in her hand. D-brand limited edition, 6 figures minimum. Then out of nowhere a helicopter descended, rotors thundering as it stole the spotlight. Zhang Kai stood there dumbfounded. Sure, it's a flaunt your wealth show, but isn't this a bit much? Dressed in black cargo pants and a plain white tee, Qin Jin greeted the cameras with ease. Hi everyone, I'm Qin Jin and this is my sister, Qin Zhaona. The girl beside him looked aloof and distant, her expression cold as if she'd rather walk away any second. Qin Jin added cheerfully, sorry we're late. Morning traffic was brutal and my sister isn't exactly a morning person. To make it on time, we had no choice but to take a helicopter. Qin Zhaona shot him a deadly glare. Who are you calling a morning person? Qin Jin flinched, instantly regretting his words. The comments section went wild. A helicopter to skip traffic. I'm jealous beyond words. This sibling duo is hilarious. With a helicopter on the table, the last group better show up in a rocket or I'll be disappointed. 10 minutes later, the final group finally appeared, and left everyone stunned. On screen, 2 figures came into focus. Su En sat nervously on the back seat of a bicycle. Are you sure showing up like this is okay? She asked anxiously. Lin Jingzhou hit the brakes suddenly, and Su En's forehead smacked into his back. Reflexively, she wrapped her arms around his waist. Meeting his glance as he turned, she muttered under her breath, "Watch it, will you?" Lin Jingzhou planted his feet on the ground, his voice calm and steady. Out here, your identity is whatever you make it as long as you believe you're a billionaire. You are. Su En nodded earnestly. You're right. The comment section froze. They're probably just passers-by, right? No way that's the final team. As doubts filled the chat, the 2, dressed in plain clothes, calmly rolled up on a shared bicycle. Hello everyone, I'm Su En and this is my friend Lin Jingzhou. Zhang Kai was baffled. Every other billionaire showed up in supercars or helicopters. These 2 arrived on a bike. Seriously? Su En sneaked a glance at Lin Jingzhou that he looked perfectly composed, carrying himself like a real tycoon. He praised him silently, good acting. He might actually be a solid partner. Forcing a smile, Zhang Kai asked the burning question, why did you decide to show up on a shared bicycle? He nearly said what was really on his mind. How dare you compare a rental bike to luxury cars and helicopters? Su En glanced at the flashy rides parked ahead, suppressing the urge to gasp out loud. Straightening her back, she replied with calm dignity, low carbon and eco-friendly. Zhang Kai almost gave them a thumbs up on the spot. Now that style, his worldview had just been shattered. The comments exploded. This is the mindset of true wealth. These 2 have to be the real billionaires. Exactly. The richer they are, the lower key they act. The comments lit up. They showed no desire for the helicopters or sports cars. They must have seen it all before. And riding in on a bicycle without the slightest shame or panic. Calm, composed, these 2 have to be the real billionaires. Lin Jingzhou parked the shared bike neatly, his gaze flicking briefly to the black Lamborghini ahead. His eyes paused for just a second before returning to their usual calm. Su En and Lin Jingzhou pushed open the door and walked inside. Instantly, all eyes turned toward them, right as a sharp, mocking voice rang out. So you came on a shared bike. No wonder you're late. Next time just call me, I'll have my brother pick you up in the Lamborghini. Su En followed the voice to see Fu Wan, dressed lightly, lips curled with a playful smirk, her posture straight and proud. Su En answered without flinching, her tone cool and precise. Since you're so eager to be our free chauffeur, I'll gladly give you the chance. But I don't really enjoy sports cars. I prefer something more comfortable, so if you want to drive me next time, make sure you switch the ride. Fu Wan had only meant to mock Su En and Lin Jingzhou while showing off her luxury car. She never expected Su En to have an even thicker skin. Not only did Su En call her a free driver, she even acted like a boss, picking and choosing what car she'd ride in. Where did she get that audacity? Fu Wan was about to snap back when Fu Yu, face dark, pressed a hand on her arm and shot her a warning look. Fu Wan instantly shut her mouth. The comments went wild. Su En's clapback was a 10-10. I'll give her 8.4 just because she was too savage. Fu Wan tried to mock them but ended up volunteered as their driver. That quick wit and confidence, that's peak billionaire energy. At that moment, Lin Jingzhou, walking just behind Su En, glanced at Fu Wan with his hands in his pockets, his tone lazy. I don't ride in second-hand Lamborghinis. His words were light, but his gaze was steady and calm, making it hard to doubt him. Fu Wan and Fu Yu froze on the spot, stunned into silence before nervously swallowing. Their reaction practically screamed guilt. Su Enen stared at Lin Jingzhou in shock that he had actually spotted their Lamborghini was second-hand. That was some next-level skill. The comments exploded. Wait, Fu Wan's Lamborghini is second-hand? How did that handsome guy figure it out? Luck or expertise? Even Su Enen couldn't hold back her curiosity and whispered, "How did you know?" Lin Jingzhou said flatly, "That car used to be mine." Su Enen snorted, giving his shoulder a playful pat. "Little brother, no need to put on a show with me, that's just shady." Lin Jingzhou shot her a sidelong glance, unwilling to explain that he tossed out a cool line before striding ahead. "Don't call me brother, that I don't have a sister." Su Enen huffed, but the corner of her lips curved up. "Still, you're kind of handsome." Qin Jin broke the silence, steering the topic elsewhere. "The director said we have to handle our own meals. So, what's the plan for lunch?" Xiao Yi leaned back neatly against the sofa, casually rolling up his sleeve to show off a gleaming watch. Speaking slowly, he said, "There's a Japanese place on the commercial street that's excellent. Normally you need to book in advance, but I'm a VIP there, so no need. If you'd like, lunch is on me." Yilan clung to his arm, smiling sweetly. "My aunt always said that place was amazing. We should all go try it together." Still smarting from earlier, Fu Wan tried to reclaim her heiress aura. She toyed with the chain of her limited edition bag and said breezily, "Japanese food. What's so great about that? Let's do fine dining. I know a 5-star Western restaurant. Premium cuts, impeccable service. My treat." Sitting beside her, Fu Yu crossed one leg over the other and nodded. "Western works. I don't like Japanese food much anyway. Consider this meal covered by us siblings." Qin Jin suddenly piped up, excited. "Speaking of fine dining, I know a place that's super exclusive. Only 5 tables a day. The owner's a friend of mine. Why don't I treat everyone there?" His usually cold sister Qin Zhaona twitched her eyelids and cut him off icily. "Not going." Fu Wan glanced at her, assuming Qin Zhaona just didn't want to spend money. Smirking, she said, "How about this? Qin Jin makes the call, but put the bill under my name." Xiao Yi refused to be outdone, adding smoothly, "I can cover it too." Compared to their little battle over who got to pay, Su Enen and Lin Jingzhou looked far calmer. Lin Jingzhou stood by the sofa, gaze drifting out the window as if none of this concerned him, while Su Enen kept her face composed. Inside though, she was panicking. "Wait, what? They're fighting to pay the bill. These people really burn calories trying to show off their wealth." Putting on her best poker face, she waited until the squabble quieted down. Lifting her chin, she cleared her throat and spoke in a slow, commanding tone. "Why waste time over such a trivial matter? Today Fu Wan treats, tomorrow Xiao Yi, the day after Qin Jin. Rotate it and everyone's happy." The other 3 groups went silent, all turning to stare at Su Enen. What she said sounded perfectly reasonable, yet somehow off. After all, Fu Wan today, Xiao Yi tomorrow, Qin Jin the next. But Su Enen hadn't offered a cent and still managed to sound like the boss. Lin Jingzhou, though distracted, still caught it that he had expected Su Enen to quietly freeload a meal or two, but never imagined she'd shamelessly schedule tomorrow and the day after as well. The comments exploded. "It's just lunch. Why fight so hard? Look at her composure, that's real leadership. Calm, unshaken, commanding." Exactly. I'm convinced Su Enen and Lin Jingzhou are the real billionaires. Only people with true status wouldn't bother sweating the small stuff. Su Enen let out the faintest sigh. Did that land right? Did my act work? Today she and Lin Jingzhou were selling one thing, the aura of spending nothing and still looking rich. Fu Wan scoffed, glaring at them. "So you're just planning to freeload off us for 3 meals straight?" Su Enen tapped her fingers lazily against the armrest, a sly smile tugging at her lips. She replied lightly, "Correction, it's you all who insisted on paying, not us begging for it. And really, do you think we'd be short on money for a few meals?" Fu Wan's face darkened, snapping back without pretense. "Who can say for sure?" Su Enen swept her gaze confidently over the other 3 groups and said openly, "If you don't want to treat, just say so that we'll cover all 3 meals." But this was a show about flaunting wealth. How could the others possibly hand Su Enen and Lin Jingzhou such a golden chance to shine? Without hesitation, all 3 groups chorused, "No way." Su Enen smirked inwardly. Exactly the reaction she expected. Fu Yu shot his sister a look. Realizing she had been too hasty, Fu Wan swallowed her irritation and lifted her chin, feigning indifference. Qin Jin stepped forward with a grin to smooth things over. Then let's do as Su Enen suggested, rotate meals. Xiao Yi suddenly offered generously, a bicycle's too far. Why don't you two ride with us? Unlike Fu Wan's attitude, Xiao Yi's was courteous. Su Enen saw no reason to refuse. Besides, when there's a Rolls-Royce waiting, who'd really choose a rental bike? She smiled politely. Then we'll trouble you for the ride. Xiao Yi and Yi Lan sat up front, while Su Enen and Lin Jingzhou took the back seat. For Su Enen, it was her first time riding in a Rolls-Royce. And wow, no surprise. Built on money alone, it was far more comfortable than any normal car. She sneaked a glance at Lin Jingzhou, who leaned back with his eyes closed, calm as ever. Nope, she had to stay cool too. She was supposed to be a billionaire now. She couldn't let anyone guess she'd never been in a Rolls-Royce before. She couldn't let the viewers see her as inexperienced, so she copied him, leaned back, closed her eyes, and pretended to rest. From the rearview mirror, Xiao Yi caught sight of the two of them in identical poses. For some reason, he suddenly felt like a chauffeur driving a young master and lady around. The comments lit up. Why do Su Enen and Lin Jingzhou look so much like a married couple? Even their posture matches perfectly, like they were cut from the same mold. Their private dining room was ready and waiting. Stylish, refined, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the river. Pure luxury. But Su Enen had no time to admire the view. She was busy worrying. Which hand should she use for the knife? Her eyes darted over, catching Lin Jingzhou calmly enjoying his meal. His long, slender fingers gripped the cutlery with ease, slicing the steak into neat, even pieces. Su Enen's lips curled in relief. That's my partner. Perfect. Not embarrassing me one bit. Lin Jingzhou felt a pair of eyes on him. Looking up, he found Su Enen staring intently at the steak on his plate. He arched a brow. Don't tell me you can't cut steak? Su Enen nodded earnestly, her gaze full of admiration. Lin Jingzhou was speechless. Great. A grown man praised like a child for slicing meat. With a sigh, he slid the neatly cut steak toward her, masking it with a look of indulgence. Eat. The livestream chat went feral. Oh my god, these two are so Look at the way they're exchanging looks. Sure, friend is a universal label, but if they're really just friends, I'll eat crap upside down. Meanwhile, Fu Wan's eyes drifted to the sapphire necklace around Yi Lan's neck. Jealousy flickered there as she said, Yi Lan, is that the newest piece from brand A? I couldn't even get my hands on it. That's so depressing. Yi Lan looked a little embarrassed. She smiled and quickly shifted the topic. Wan, your bag is from Empire, right? I really love that brand's pieces too. Fu Wan tilted her chin proudly. That's right. Seems we've got similar taste. I'm also a big fan of Grigley's design philosophy. Then she paused deliberately, her tone sharp as she turned towards Su Enen, who was dressed plainly. And you? What brand is your outfit? Looks decent enough. Su Enen smiled lightly. Personally, I prefer some niche domestic designers over foreign luxury brands. Their styles are fresh and fashionable, no worse than any big name abroad. This outfit I'm wearing is from a small local brand, not expensive. If you like it, you can find it online. Fu Wan curled her lips in satisfaction, thinking, perfect. Now the viewers will never believe Su Enen is a real billionaire. But to her surprise, Su Enen's straightforward honesty actually won over the audience. The comments lit up. Now that's real billionaire mindset. Rich but still supporting homegrown brands. Lin Jingzhou glanced at Su Enen, a deeper meaning flickering in his eyes. Then he turned, his gaze settling on the watch on Fu Yu's wrist. His voice was calm but cutting. Your brother's watch is fake. Fu Wan's smile froze instantly, her voice pitching high. Don't talk nonsense. Do you have proof? Lin Jingzhou remained indifferent. Check for yourself later, or check now. Let everyone see the truth. Though his tone was cool, he still left her some dignity. She could investigate privately or take the risk of exposing it publicly. If it really was fake, the humiliation would be brutal. Fu Wan's bravado crumbled, her momentum faltering at once. Seeing Fu Wan lose her swagger, Su Enen felt a rush of satisfaction. She pressed her lips together to hide her grin, then gave Lin Jingzhou a secret thumbs up under the table. Nice one. The live stream went crazy. Young Master Lin strikes again. The Fu siblings are exposed. Fake rich confirmed. First day and they're already about to be kicked out? They're too guilty to even argue. Definitely not real billionaires. I almost fell for Fu Wan's heiress act. Worried the tension might explode, Qin Jin quickly flagged down a waiter to settle the bill, afraid fists might start flying in the private room. But the waiter bowed politely. Our boss said this table is full of very important guests. Everything you need will be provided and the meal is complimentary. Qin Jin froze, then leapt to his feet in delight. Wait, your boss really said that I'm the very important guest? The waiter blinked, glancing up and down at the tall Qin Jin, his expression turning oddly complicated. Yes, I suppose. In truth, the waiter had no idea if Qin Jin was the important guest. He only knew those were the boss's exact instructions. Qin Jin lifted his head toward the ceiling, utterly swept away in his own little world, eyes brimming with gratitude. So touched. The comments lit up again. Qin Jin must be the real billionaire. Just look at his connections. Agreed. Su Enin has the aura of wealth, but I haven't seen her show any real proof of it yet. After lunch, the 4 groups of guests returned together to the villa. Su Enin couldn't shake the feeling that Western food just didn't fill her up. She wandered into the kitchen and discovered the fridge packed with fresh ingredients. So that's what the producers meant by handling your own meals. They were supposed to cook, not go out flaunting dinner bills. Su Enin stared at the fridge, troubled. What kind of dish screams billionaire taste? What do the ultra-rich even eat every day? Suddenly, a deep voice came from behind her. What are you doing? Picking concubines out of the fridge? Su Enin turned, silently admitting to herself that Lin Jingzhou had shown up at just the right time. Playing along, she gave him a mischievous smile. Then tell me, what kind of concubine suits someone of my status? Lin Jingzhou raised his long arm, brushing past her ear as he reached into the fridge, pulling out a bottle of water. Lin Jingzhou twisted open the bottle and took a couple of long swigs. From Su Enin's angle, her eyes caught on the movement of his Adam's apple. The motion sharpened the clean lines of his jaw and neck. An unexpectedly tempting sight. Su Enin thought to herself. If he ever used his looks as a weapon, rich women would be lining up to keep him. Why waste time pretending to be rich with me on this show? Meeting her gaze, Lin Jingzhou said flatly, do what you like. Don't worry about others. That one line perfectly captured the aura of wealth. Su Enin nodded inwardly. This was the kind of attitude real tycoons had. She glanced at the clock. Just 2 hours until dinner. Browsing the fridge, she finally grabbed a small mousse cake to tide herself over. Just then, the other contestants wandered into the kitchen. Spotting the fully stocked fridge, they exclaimed, the show actually prepared all this. Looks like dinner's sorted. Are we supposed to cook ourselves? Su Enin replied with mock seriousness, food from outside isn't healthy. Best to eat less of it. She added, the richer people are, the more they care about quality of life. Honestly, this isn't even about money. Everyone knows outside food isn't healthy. Xiao Yi nodded. I agree. Yi Lan tilted her head toward him, embarrassed. But in my family, the servants always cook. I've never learned. Do you know how? Xiao Yi's face froze for a moment, then he answered seriously, we've got Michelin chefs, private gourmet chefs, Chinese and Western. I've never stepped foot in the kitchen. Qin Jin shut the fridge with a sigh. Same with us. We've always had a maid. My sister and I just eat whatever's served. Hearing this, the cake in Su Enin's mouth suddenly lost all flavor. She tugged at her lips helplessly. So everyone's the same, huh? Then what do we do? At that moment, Yi Lan turned toward her. What about your friend Lin Jingzhou? Can he cook? Him. Su Enin kept a straight face and lied smoothly. He's a lazy, spoiled young master who does nothing all day. No way he can cook. Yi Lan frowned slightly. Really? Doesn't seem like it. Su Enin waved her hand with a knowing look. Well, it's for the show. He's just toning it down. She had no idea what Lin Jingzhou was actually like. But for the sake of that $1 million prize, she wasn't about to let him become the villa's only personal chef. Sorry, little brother. Qin Jin suggested, why don't I go ask Fu Wan? With that, he ran upstairs and knocked on the door of Fu Wan's room. Meanwhile, Fu Wan was in her room arguing with a reseller. I paid 400 grand for this watch and it's fake. You'd better explain yourself today. She hung up in frustration. A knock came at the door. Opening it, she found Qin Jin waiting, his brows creased with impatience. "What is it?" he asked bluntly. "Do you know how to cook? We found plenty of ingredients in the kitchen, but my sister and I are hopeless." Already irritated, Fu Wan had no interest in joining Su Enan and Lin Jingzhou for dinner. She snapped coldly, "If nobody knows how, then cook for yourselves. Don't ruin it for the rest of us." Back in the kitchen, Su Enan stared at the stove with a solemn face. If she cooked too well, would it blow their cover? Lin Jingzhou observed calmly, murmuring, "Indecisive, still hasn't picked a concubine." "Eggplant okay?" Su Enan asked casually. No real dislikes," Lin Jingzhou replied. But he clearly hadn't realized, every other rich kid here had maids and private chefs. None of them could cook. More importantly, he likely had no idea that Su Enan had branded him on air as a lazy, spoiled young master. Suddenly, Lin Jingzhou leaned closer. "What's wrong? Don't trust me?" His low voice startled her. Before she could answer, he added calmly, "Leave it to me. With me here, it'll be fine." Su Enan reacted like a bandit caught red-handed, snatching the eggplant out of his hands. "I'll do it." Lin Jingzhou had a sudden bad feeling about Su Enan's unexpected burst of enthusiasm. 2 minutes later, his hunch came true. She was butchering the eggplant with clumsy cuts, every slice a different size. The result looked so tragic it was as if the eggplant's own mother would hesitate to claim it. Lin Jingzhou arched a brow. "What are you doing, giving it minor surgery?" Su Enan, wearing the perfect rookie expression, shot back righteously, "I don't want to cut my hand." Honestly, it was exactly the kind of excuse a kitchen newbie would use. On that front, Su Enan was confident, pretending to be clueless. "Piece of cake." She darted her eyes around, then called out to the one moving a little too smoothly nearby. "Chef Xiao, how do I turn this stove on?" Caught off guard by the clear, almost innocent stupidity in her gaze, Xiao Yi instinctively pointed. "Twist it to the left." The moment he said it, his hand froze and his heart jolted. Wait, hadn't he just claimed he couldn't cook? But his reflexes were way too practiced, and worst of all, she just called him Chef Xiao, and he'd answered. The livestream chat exploded. Su, and what are you doing?" "Xiao Yi, are you sure you've never cooked? Next to her you look like a pro chef." Meanwhile, Lin Jingzhou watched in disbelief as Su Enan fumbled with the stove, dumping oil in before the pan was even hot, then immediately tossing in half a spoon of salt. His back stiffened, staring at her in shock. "Has it occurred to you, maybe you add the salt after the vegetables?" Su Enan feigned innocence, glancing at Lin Jingzhou with wide, confused eyes. "Oh really? Doesn't matter, whether you add it first or last, it's still in the pan. It can't exactly run away." Lin Jingzhou suddenly felt the urge to flee. "Let me do it." His tone left no room for negotiation. But Su Enan blocked him with her whole body, guarding her precious creation like it was a treasure. With utter confidence she declared, "Trust me, I promise this will be the most delicious meal you'll ever have in your life." A dry chuckle slipped from his throat. "More like the last meal of my life." Su Enan shot back, "Friends are supposed to trust each other." Lin Jingzhou answered coolly, "And friends are also allowed to skip dinner." The livestream chat went nuts. "I'm dying, these two are hilarious. Su Enan really can't cook. She's the definition of a pampered heiress." Lin Jingzhou's eyes though. Mouth says no, but he looks like he's spoiling her. Meanwhile, the camera panned to Xiao Yi, who was shockingly quick to learn. For someone claiming it was his first time, his cooking looked more than competent. Yilan smiled in praise. "Yi, you're amazing. So good on your very first try." Xiao Yi waved it off modestly. "It's fine that I just pick things up quickly." The comments split into camps. "No way, that's not his first time cooking." "Not necessarily, that if he's really rich and well-traveled, then something like cooking is just another small stage to handle with ease." Qin Zhaonan, unwilling to attempt meat dishes, quickly stir-fried a plate of cabbage. Once done, she handed chopsticks to Qin Jin. "Try it." Qin Jin's hands trembled as he picked up a piece. The moment it hit his tongue, his face scrunched into a pained knot. "I think." But under Qin Zhaonan's sharpening gaze, he changed course instantly, survival instincts kicking in. "It's the cabbage's fault. Definitely not yours." Poor guy, his survival instinct was off the charts. Meanwhile, Su Enan's eggplant stir-fry was ready. She set it on the table proudly. "Young Master Lin, dinner is served." Lin Jingzhou's gaze landed on the dish and his brows lifted in surprise. At least, it looked edible. Cooked through, not burnt. Su Enan handed him a pair of chopsticks. Lin Jingzhou accepted them with calm composure. He tasted a piece of eggplant and to his own surprise, it wasn't bad. That he looked up at Su Enan. A flicker of triumph passed through her eyes. She had never made bad food in her life. This time she only made it look questionable, but the flavor was carefully controlled. Qin Jin watched Lin Jingzhou like a comrade in arms, face full of pity. That dish, edible? Lin Jingzhou simply grunted, and coolly went in for another bite. Qin Jin refused to believe Su Enen's cooking was edible. That he leaned in, kindly advising Lin Jingzhou, if she threatened you, just say so. Don't be scared. This is a show. She can't actually hurt you. Lin Jingzhou glanced at him like he was an idiot, then ignored him and calmly went back to eating. Qin Jin muttered, exasperated, young Master Lin, go ahead and spoil her, but come on, how could food that looks like that taste good? Qin Zhaonan tapped her chopsticks against the rim of her plate, her tone sharp. Qin Jin, eat your own food. Don't meddle. Yes, sis, he answered instantly, smiling obediently. He then forced down his cabbage at a brutal ratio of 1 bite of cabbage to 8 bites of rice, managing to finish a whole bowl. Then he stood up for seconds. Returning with a grin, he quipped, sis, this dish is really tasty. It just eats up a lot of rice. Was this cabbage grown in salt? At that moment, Zhang Kai stepped in with a cheerful smile. Alright, day 1 of filming is almost over. To wrap up, we'll open the voting channel for today's results. He added meaningfully, but don't celebrate too soon. Today's number 1 might become tomorrow's dead last. The live stream chat exploded. Whoa, voting starts on day 1? Whoever ranks first today will definitely be targeted by everyone else tomorrow. Yes, I live for this drama. Bring on the chaos. Fu Wan asked sharply, so you mean there's going to be voting every single day, and all the results will be public? Zhang Kai nodded. Exactly. Everyone will see their daily ranking in real time, until the final day when the true winners are revealed. Su Enen sighed inwardly. Figures to a million isn't easy money. Today's just the warm-up. The real show hasn't even begun. With a mischievous grin, Zhang Kai turned to the camera. Dear viewers, are you ready? It's time to cast your votes for the billionaire duo in your heart. Who will take first place today? 30 minutes later, the results came in. First place, Su Enen and Lin Jingzhou. Second, Qin Zhaonan and Qin Jin. Third, Xiao Yi and Yi Lan. Fourth, Fu Wan and Fu Yu. Su Enen was caught between joy and dread. Happy their act had worked, but anxious knowing the other 3 teams would now have them in their crosshairs. This isn't just voting, it's public enemy making. After all, with $1 million at stake, who wouldn't go crazy with jealousy? Sure enough, the moment Zhang Kai finished speaking, the other 3 teams turned hostile eyes on Su Enen and Lin Jingzhou. Su Enen looked calmly into the camera, lips pressed together as if to say, wow, already guessed. How boring. Beside her, Lin Jingzhou appeared even more indifferent, elbow resting lazily on the sofa arm, as though winning first place and a shot at $1 million meant nothing to him. The live stream chat blew up. Why do they both radiate that I don't care about money vibe? Is this what swagger really looks like? Swag brother and swag sister? Only real rich people can take first and still act this calm. And with that, the first day's broadcast came to a close. The crew explained that nighttime footage wasn't worth filming, so the cameras shut off. Once they did, the other 3 groups all headed back to their rooms, leaving Su Enen and Lin Jingzhou alone. Su Enen's eyes shone with unrestrained joy. We nailed it today. Totally nailed it. Lin Jingzhou cooled her excitement with a flat tone. Don't celebrate too soon. Tomorrow they'll definitely try to paint us as fakes. He wasn't wrong. The other 3 wouldn't just sit by and let them hold first place. But no matter what came next, they couldn't afford to lose their momentum. Su Enen's lips curled into a confident smile. She leaned slightly toward Lin Jingzhou and crooked her finger at him. Do you know what's most important when roaming the world? Lin Jingzhou guessed casually, integrity. Wrong. Su Enen shot back without hesitation. It's an impenetrable thick skin. I'm barefoot. Why would I fear those wearing shoes? Chin raised, she declared boldly, I dared to come on this show without spending a dime, competing with them in wealth. You think I'm ordinary? Have faith. We're definitely taking that $1 million. Her rousing little speech ended with a compliment. But you did really well today. You impressed me. Lin Jingzhou, however, stayed silent. She assumed it was because they hadn't known each other long enough for him to see her as a real friend. Still, even if not friends, as partners they needed to build some rapport. For smoother cooperation, easier teamwork, and a better shot at winning. So she pressed on. We're a team, right? I praised you, don't you want to praise me too? How do you think I did today? Do I have room to improve? Lin Jingzhou rose unhurriedly, towering over her, his lips parted slightly. The food was fine, just don't cook again. Su Enan puffed her cheeks in frustration. Was that supposed to be a compliment or not? Lin Jingzhou, unfazed, started heading upstairs. With nothing better to do alone, Su Enan followed behind, also ready to call it a night. As they reached the second-floor landing, Lin Jingzhou suddenly stopped. Su Enan craned her head curiously from behind him. There stood Yilan, descending from the third floor, seemingly on her way toward the rooms on the second. Before either of them could speak, Yilan flushed, fumbling for an excuse. Xiaoyi texted me that he said he couldn't sleep, maybe because it's a new place, not used to it. Su Enan eyed her awkwardness, leaning lazily to one side. We get it. Just go. Xiaoyi's waiting. Yilan forced an embarrassed smile and hurried off toward Xiaoyi's room. Su Enan watched her retreating figure, thoughtful. Then, as if struck by an idea, a sly glint flashed through her eyes. She lifted her gaze to Lin Jingzhou's tall frame, smiling sweetly. Will you be able to sleep tonight? New place, strange bed, won't it be boring? Lin Jingzhou halted, turned back, one brow arched, his gaze filled with quiet intrigue. Su Enan's lips curved into a sly smile. Add me on WeChat, I'll send you something explosive. She leaned in, voice dripping with mischief. I guarantee it'll keep you fired up all night. Passion, adrenaline, the works. A little spice for your lonely evening. Here we go again. That ominous premonition hit Lin Jingzhou hard. Su Enan's grin was far too mysterious, yet against his better judgment he pulled out his phone and added her. For reasons he couldn't explain, a flicker of anticipation stirred in his chest. Before leaving, Su Enan whispered, remember, don't let anyone else see. Only you. Back in his room, Lin Jingzhou's phone buzzed 3 times in quick succession. He hesitated, then gave in and opened them. 3 scrambled website links filled the screen. Frowning, he tapped the first. The page loaded and a bold headline flashed across his dark eyes. How to pretend with elegance. A quiet laugh escaped his lips. He backed out, then opened the second, 10,008 ways to fake it with style. The third link was even more ridiculous. Must know secrets of showing off wealth. As soon as Lin Jingzhou closed the page, a message popped up from Su Enan. Well, explosive enough. Don't you feel fired up now, brimming with battle energy? She added, don't you feel like that million is practically in the bag? I bet Yilan went to Xiaoyi's room to strategize that we can't fall behind. So tonight, do your homework, boost your arsenal of show-off tricks. Lin Jingzhou smirked, about to lock his phone and toss it aside. Suddenly, a trending alert slid down from the top of his screen. Hashtag idle young master snubbed by heiress. Hashtag. Lin Jingzhou froze, the title oddly familiar. Opening it, he nearly laughed in anger. The trending clip was none other than Su Enan in the living room earlier, publicly calling him a lazy, idle young master with no ambition. The producers knew what they were doing. Sure, it was marketed as a billionaire show, but what really drove traffic was spicy CP bait. And that explained the bizarre, meme-like trending tag plastered across social media. Lin Jingzhou reopened their chat and typed back flatly, not watching. Why? Because apparently I'm lazy, idle, and useless. The audience can't even ship that. Su Enan quickly replied, it's just a necessary move, all for our million. Don't sweat the small stuff. She added, it's not like we'll ever be in a relationship anyway. Just stick to the character I gave you. Lying in bed, Su Enan stared at the screen for a few minutes. Still no reply. Seriously, is he actually mad? Over something this small? The next morning, Su Enan was woken by a knock at the door. Enan, are you up yet? It was Yi Lan's voice. She rubbed her eyes, forcing herself awake, and shuffled over to open the door. Just got up. What's the matter? Yi Lan explained honestly, the producers want us to go shopping after breakfast. You should hurry and get ready. Su Enan nodded slightly. Thanks, I got it. After Yilan left, she closed the door and sat back on the edge of her bed, picking up her phone to check WeChat. Still no reply from Lin Jingzhou. A small pang of worry hit her. Don't tell me he's actually mad. It can't be over something this small, right? Handle internal affairs before facing outsiders. Today, they'd have to fight side by side against the competition. There was no room for infighting. Driven by the $1 million prize, Su Enen sent Lin Jingzhou another message. The producers made arrangements. Why didn't you tell me? Aren't we supposed to be partners? Lin Jingzhou replied almost instantly. The third floor is for female guests. I'm a man. It wouldn't be appropriate. That level of restraint surprised her. Alright, fine. As long as he's not mad. Can't let $1 million go up in smoke. After washing up, Su Enen slipped into an ivory long dress. With her tall frame, the flowing cut and cinched waist highlighted her curves perfectly. By the time she walked downstairs, the live stream had already been rolling for 3 minutes. Comments flooded in. I need all the details on that dress. Found it. Same style, only 199 yuan. Support local brands. An is so patriotic and eco-friendly, queen with perfect values. As she approached, Lin Jingzhou lifted his eyes for a glance, looked away, then stole a second look. The chat went wild. Did you see that? His eyes totally lingered. This CP is 100% real. I'm sold. Breakfast that day was prepared by the crew, elegant but simple. After the meal, the group headed to the largest shopping mall in the city center. Qin Jin hated shopping more than anything. Standing at the mall entrance, he pulled a long face. Do us guys really have to go in too? Qin Zhaonan shot him a sharp look. If you don't go in, who's carrying the bags? Fu Yu slipped a gleaming gold card from his wallet and handed it to Fu Wan. Go shop. I'm not going in. Pick carefully this time. Don't get scammed again. Call me when you're done. Fu Wan accepted it with a softened tone. That reseller wasn't reliable. Who knew he'd dare palm off fakes on me? The livestream chat erupted. This is the dream, brother. Skip the shopping, just drop the card. FY, gold cards usually mean a 6-figure deposit minimum. Xiao Yi pulled out a bank card of his own and offered it to Yilan with a smile. You ladies go shop. I'll sit this one out. Take the card, spend whatever you like. I'll wait with Fu Yu at the cafe. Yilan hesitated shyly. I don't think that's appropriate. Xiao Yi clasped her hand, voice gentle. What's inappropriate? You're my girlfriend. Spending my money is only natural. To be good. Take it. Yilan blushed, accepted the card, then tiptoed up to plant a quick kiss on his cheek. Qin Jin then pulled out a card of his own and handed it to Qin Zhaonan. Sis, you may not have a boyfriend or a big brother, but you've got me. Spend mine. I'll be at the cave waiting. The live stream exploded. So is today's challenge to max out the guys' cards. Damn, I love watching other people spend money. Spotting that Su Enen was the only one without financial backing, Fu Wan sneered. Young Master Lin, your friend's about to go shopping. Aren't you going to step up? Every group has a man supporting their woman, except her. Doesn't that make her lose face? At least pretend for show. But Su Enen knew the truth. Lin Jingzhou couldn't even pay rent. There was no way he had a gold, diamond, or platinum card hidden somewhere. Before he could speak, Su Enen smiled and cut in. First of all, he's my friend. He doesn't need to give me money. Second, I can earn my own. I don't need to spend a man's. She raised her chin, voice firm. And last, it's not about him making me lose-faced. He knows I'm not the kind of person who spends others' money casually, nor someone who cares about empty appearances. The chat went wild. Queen behavior. This is what a real heiress looks like. Who said women have to live off men? Su Enen added politely, of course, that's just my personal view. Yours might be different. Fu Wan's jaw tightened as she seethed inwardly. Damn it, she stole the spotlight again. Su Enen turned to Lin Jingzhou. It's kinda awkward for you to tag along with us girls. Why don't you go wait with the guys at the cafe? Lin Jingzhou gave a slow nod. Only after he started walking away did Su Enen suddenly realize. Crap, he doesn't have any money on him. What if he can't even buy a bottle of water? She quickly pulled out her phone, opened WeChat and sent him some cash. A few steps later, Lin Jingzhou's phone buzzed. He pulled it out to see a single message. For you to buy water. His eyes flicked over the cafe's menu. Bottled water. 25 yuan. Su Enen nearly choked. What? 25 for water. Don't be stupid, we're not throwing money away like that. She immediately texted again. I'm not being stingy, you're only 21. You haven't hit real life yet as someone who's been there. Take it from me. Money isn't easy to make. That 500k you've got, save it. One day you'll need it as a dowry. Good looks aren't enough, so here's my advice. Be frugal. Hold off for now. When I'm done shopping, I'll buy you a bottle of AD milk. Refund me the cash first. Lin Jingzhou turned his head slightly, lips curving in a soundless laugh. So that last line was the real point, huh? Just then Yilan glanced back and asked gently, and what are you busy with? Su Enan answered openly, nothing serious, just a friend asking me for something. Even the usually cold Qin Zhaonan teased, what, a boyfriend? Su Enan shook her head without hesitation. Nope, I don't have one. She added dryly, I haven't even secured the money yet. Where would I find the time for romance? Young Master Lin, did you hear that? I'm single, that if you want to chase me, you'd better step up your game. Meanwhile, Fu Wan held up a white off-shoulder crop top in front of the mirror. Yilan leaned in sincerely. That really suits you, you'll look amazing in it. Hearing her taste affirmed, Fu Wan smirked proudly. I thought so too. Qin Zhaonan overheard and glanced over. Wait, that looks familiar, isn't it almost the same style Su En wore yesterday? She added casually, I checked online just now. This one costs 28,000. Su En's version. Only a few hundred. Similar design, totally different price. Fu Wan frowned, her tone sharp with sarcasm. How could they be the same? Cheap knockoffs could never compare with a 28,000 yuan piece. Su En turned around with a faint, mocking smile. True, they're not the same. Yours costs over 20,000 more. The live stream chat erupted. Haha, Su En nailed it. How come the designs look almost identical but the price gap is insane? Her dress looked fine to me. Same fabric specs online. Clearly you're just paying for the logo. This is what rational spending looks like. Queen of clear-headedness. By now viewers were openly asking, so what's the deal? Is Su En a real heiress practicing smart spending, or is she just broke and can't afford anything? Fu Wan headed straight to a nearby sales assistant, smiling sweetly. Excuse me, which piece here is the latest collection? The clerk promptly pulled out a long dress and gushed, this is our newest arrival. With your figure, you'd look absolutely stunning in it. Fu Wan took the dress and walked over to Su En, feigning kindness. And I just asked about the new arrivals. This one would suit you perfectly. Fu Wan held the dress out towards Su En, her tone dripping with faux kindness. The clerk said this is their newest piece. Honestly, I think it's perfect for you. Why don't you try it on? Yilan glanced over and quickly chimed in. Since Su En was already wearing a long dress today, she added eagerly, and you should. You look amazing in long dresses. The livestream chat blew up. Ugh, I can't stand Fu Wan, but she's got good taste. This dress is gorgeous. Su En in that dress. I need to see it. Others argued back. Wait, isn't this just forcing En to spend? Come on, this is a shopping challenge. If they don't buy anything, how are we supposed to tell who the real millionaire is? Su En stared at the gown, a spark of longing hitting her chest. She had to admit, from the cut to the fabric, it was exactly her style. But when her eyes flicked over the price tag, her heart nearly skipped a beat. No way that if I don't win that million, splitting the show's 100k leaves me with only 50k. Bread will come, dresses will come, but not today. Seeing Yilan chime in, Fu Wan pushed harder. See? Even Yilan says it's perfect for you, and if you don't buy it now, you'll regret it. Su En sneered inwardly. So that's why Fu Wan's suddenly being kind. She's trying to bait me into spending. She steadied her heartbeat, let her gaze drift lazily over the gown and smiled faintly. I don't like wasting money on material things. Honestly, that's just vulgar. The sales clerk immediately sensed it. This deal wasn't happening. With years on the job, she could read people like a book. Fu Wan curved her lips into a mocking smile, pretending to sound casual. Oh, I get it. Don't tell me. You don't actually have the money? Su En remained unbothered, chuckling softly. If I really bought this dress, how much commission would you it? Fu Wan looked utterly confused, her brows knitting together. What do you mean? Su En's tone was light but every word cut deep. How much does this store even pay you per month? You're pushing so hard. Don't tell me that designer bag you're carrying was bought with your side job wages. The live stream chat exploded. Oh, even the sales clerk isn't this aggressive. Fu Wan looks like she's about to snatch cash straight out of NN's purse. She's way too desperate, it's showing. But Engel, I'd love to see Su En drop some cash just to shut her up. Fu Wan's expression shifted and she blurted out anxiously, "That's not true. Don't twist my words." The sales clerk, sensing the tension, quickly stepped in to defuse it. "I can confirm, this lady isn't one of our staff." Su En's face remained calm as she delivered a casual blow. "Then don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong." Her eyes sharpened. "Not buying this dress doesn't mean I'm broke. Where I spend my money is none of your business." Fu Wan was struck dumb, her face flushing red then pale. For once she had nothing to say. Just then, a woman stepped in through the boutique entrance. Dressed in a sleek black business suit, she carried herself with professional poise, brushing past the other three guests. She walked straight up to Su En, her tone polite. "Excuse me, are you Miss Su En?" Su En blinked, caught off guard, a hint of confusion in her eyes. "Yes, that's me. Did I ask something wrong?" The woman introduced herself with a polished smile. "I'm Zhang Yan, the mall manager. Our chairman has instructed us to gift you every new arrival from the stores you visited today, free of charge." The boutique fell into stunned silence, the live stream chat exploding, while Su En herself hadn't even processed the bombshell that had just dropped. Zhang Yan turned to a short-haired sales assistant and ordered, "Pack up all the new arrivals in the store for Miss Su." She added solemnly, "Miss Su, rest assured, we won't charge you a penny. Our chairman said it's our honor that you chose to shop here." The sales assistant's hands trembled as she stuffed clothes into bags, her thoughts racing. "Oh no, I thought she was just faking wealth, but she's actually connected to the boss. Did I just side with the wrong person? Am I about to lose my job?" Su En stood there utterly dazed. Not even in her wildest dreams had she dared to imagine something like this. Free new arrivals. Seriously, maybe her dreams had been too conservative. The livestream chat went wild. "I'm so jealous I could grow a whole lemon tree. This is the biggest mall in Haishur, and they're saying it's an honor to host her. If this isn't billionaire proof, I don't know what is." When several shopping bags of brand new clothes were finally piled into her arms, Su En began to snap out of it. Which rich fool is this kind-hearted? She opened her mouth, ready to politely decline. Zhang Yan, almost reading her mind, smiled knowingly. "Miss Su, our chairman insisted. If you refuse, it would embarrass him greatly that he might not even be able to show his face in Haishur again." Su En forced her tone to stay calm, giving a polite nod. "Then please thank your chairman on my behalf." With the live stream rolling, she dared not say too much. Deep down, though, she was already planning, stash the clothes for now and quietly return them after the show. The live stream chat erupted. "If this doesn't prove she's a billionaire, I'll wash my hair standing on my head. Don't tell me the mall owner is secretly in love with her? Watch out, Lin Xiaoye, you've got competition." The other three female guests looked as if they'd been plunged into an Antarctic ice bath, chilled from head to toe. With every new arrival in the entire mall being handed to Su En for free, what was the point of them even shopping? This wasn't shopping, it was annihilation. In the control room, the production teams stared at the monitors in disbelief. Holy crap! Where the hell did you dig up a boss-level player like her? Even the big boss of Xingjing Group has to give Su En some face. Compared to that, none of us sponsors have nearly as much pull. Zhang Kai pulled over a chair, crossed his legs and said with a smirk, "Picked them up off the street, yet their acting turned out way better than I expected." Sure, Jimmy asked curiously, "So what do they actually do?" Zhang Kai sighed, his tone tinged with pity. "No jobs. When I found them, they didn't even have a place to stay, that I was the one who put them up in a hotel for 3 days. That miserable, and still with acting skills like this. No way we should let such young talent slip away." You frowned in confusion. "But what's the deal with Xingjing's boss then?" Zhang Kai thought for a moment and said, "My guess is they used the 100 grand we gave them to hire actors themselves. Honestly, the idea that they really know Xingjing's big boss sounds far-fetched." Manager sure nodded slowly. "Makes sense, but something still feels off. Were those really just hired actors?" Half an hour earlier, in a cafe next to the shopping mall, Xiao Yi, Fu Yu and Qin Jin had just ordered their drinks when all three turned to look at Lin Jingzhou, who was glued to his phone. Qin Jin glanced at him, and for once that usually indifferent face carried a faint smile. Curling his lips, he teased, "What's with you, falling in love or just losing it?" Lin Jingzhou's smile faded, his sharp, deep gaze lifted to meet Qin Jin's as he replied in a low voice. You've got something to say. Talk about a quick mood swing, Qin Jin muttered inwardly, then asked aloud, what are you drinking? Iced Americano. Xiao Yi pulled out his phone, looked up at the waiter and said boldly, how much? I'll pay. The waiter, faced with 4 handsome guys sitting together, flushed slightly. That'll be 178 yuan. Qin Jin slid 2 red bills from his wallet. Don't fight over small change, I'll cover it. Whether they were putting on a show or genuinely generous, the 3 never missed a single chance to flaunt their rich guy style. Lin Jingzhou, on the other hand, was almost too calm that he stood up and told the cameraman hidden among the crowd, I'm stepping out to make a private call, don't follow me. Once the call connected, the voice on the other end immediately flattered him. Young Master Lin, what can I do for you? Lin Jingzhou spoke flatly. A friend of mine is at a Xingjing Group mall right now. Send someone over to take care of her. Make sure she gets full respect. Got it, young Master Lin. But what if your friend insists on paying? Lin Jingzhou cut in at once. She won't pay. Just make sure she accepts whatever she picks, that's enough. The voice asked quickly, what's her name? How does she look? I'll send someone right away. His tone stayed even. Suan female wearing an off-white dress. Very pretty. Charge everything she takes to me, but don't mention my name. With that he hung up the call. Now that's what you'd call a reliable partner, right? An hour later the 4 walked out of the mall and into a cafe. Spotting the 3 male guests sitting in the corner, Su Enan frowned. Where had her so-called reliable partner gone? Not seeing Lin Jingzhou anywhere, Su Enan set several shopping bags down on the table and asked, where's Lin Jingzhou? Xiao Yi leisurely sipped his coffee. He said slowly, he was taken to the police station. What? Su Enen's face tightened with anxiety. What happened? Xiao Yi gave a quick rundown of what he'd just heard and seen. Right outside the cafe, a woman ran into some thug. Then we saw the mall security drag him off and take him to the nearby police station. Fu Wan shot Su Enen a mocking look, sneering, in broad daylight getting hauled off for harassing a woman. That friend of yours looks decent enough, but who knew he'd be that kind of guy? Yilan also looked unsettled, his tone carrying a hint of fear. Someone like that, he can't possibly keep participating in the show, can he? The other 3 groups of contestants were shocked at first. Who would have thought Lin Jingzhou's character was like this? But deep down they were secretly pleased. One strong competitor was finally out of the way. No way, no way. That spoiled young master turned out to be this kind of guy. I even voted for him and Su Enin yesterday. Can I take my vote back? Damn, why isn't trash like this kicked off the show already? Has the bar for reality TV dropped this low? Su Enin, still unaware that she was already being torn apart online, stood frozen in place. It took her a long moment to process. Accused of harassment, hauled off to the police station. Her partner had actually been taken away. Did that mean her million was about to go down the drain? Wait. Even though she hadn't known him long, she could tell Lin Jingzhou wasn't the type to pull something like that. Could there be some kind of misunderstanding? For the sake of her partner, she had to find out the truth. Su Enin frowned, her expression turning serious as she asked, which police station? Someone replied, the one about 200 meters west of the square. You can just walk there. Before the words were even finished, Su Enin had already dashed out the door. Su Enin arrived at the police station just in time to see a uniformed officer step outside. She hurried forward. Excuse me, I'm a friend of Lin Jingzhou. Could you tell me what's going on with him? The officer didn't seem to be in charge of the case. Instead he asked, inside we've got one group brought in for fighting and another for harassing women. Which side is your friend on? Su Enin wasn't a cop and the question felt like a trap. She opened her mouth, hesitated, then forced out, the harassment one. Come with me, the officer said, leading her into an office. Is it them? Su Enin asked, looking at the 2 men sitting inside, both with sleazy, unpleasant faces. She glanced back at the officer, frowned, and said, no, my friend's not nearly that ugly. One of the sleazy men snarled, glaring at her. So you're that brat's friend? Listen up, your buddy hit my brother, that he's paying for it. The moment she heard the word pay, Su Enin's nerves sharpened and she snapped back to attention. Su Enin's gaze swept over the 2 sleazy men, not a scratch on them. You both look fine to me. This is a police station, don't you dare try pulling scams in here. The skinny one clutched his chest, groaning in pain. Internal injury. Another officer in the room rapped his knuckles on the desk. Both of you, shut it. If you hadn't harassed someone in the first place, would there even be internal injuries to talk about? Sue Enin quickly pieced it together. These two scumbags were the real culprits. She turned to the officer with an innocent look. See? Not only are they scaring me with their ugly faces, now they're trying to extort me. You can't let them off easy. The fat one shot up in protest. I didn't. Don't talk nonsense or I'll... He stopped short, realizing he was in a police station, and swallowed the rest of his threat. Sue Enin recoiled half a step, slipping behind the officer as if frightened. See, he's still threatening me, trying to shut me up. That punishment should be doubled. The fat man suddenly realized Sue Enin had baited him. Panic flashed across his face as he turned to the officer. Don't listen to her nonsense. We didn't extort her, we didn't threaten her. Don't double it. The officer's face hardened, his voice sharp. Shut it. You've got guts making threats inside a police station. Then the officer shifted his gaze to Sue Enin, his tone softening. It's all right, don't be afraid that he'll face proper legal punishment. Sue Enin nodded, I trust you. With that, the officer led her to the office next door. As soon as the door opened, Sue Enin saw Lin Jingzhou seated inside. His upper body slouched lazily against the chair, his long legs stretched out carelessly, posture bold and unrestrained. Even sitting in a police station, he showed not the slightest hint of tension or unease. Sue Enin hurried to his side, frowning as she asked with concern, Are you okay? Do you even know how worried I've been about you? Lin Jingzhou didn't flinch, his voice cool as he cut through her concern. What you're really worried about is your million, isn't it? Sue Enin tugged at the corner of her mouth. Don't put it like that. Half of that million is yours, remember? I'm worrying for you too. Greedy as ever. Some things never change. Lin Jingzhou's lips curved faintly. Thanks. Sue Enin waved it off, her tone light. Don't be polite with me, we're partners, right? That's what partners are for. Then, while Lin Jingzhou cooperated with the officer taking his statement, Sue Enin caught sight of the surveillance footage on screen. A woman stood waiting near the cafe as the skinny thug passed by. He suddenly groped her from behind. The woman let out a startled cry. The thug cursed and turned around, only for Lin Jingzhou to raise his leg and slam a kick into his chest, dropping him to the ground howling. With the truth laid bare, Sue Enin finally let out a breath of relief. Thankfully, her partner was still usable. As the two walked out of the police station, Sue Enin grinned at him. Not bad, stepping in like that, saving the day. You deserve a medal. Lin Jingzhou's expression stayed calm and he didn't pursue the topic. You guys done shopping? Yeah. Sue Enin quickened her pace to keep up with his long strides. You know, I ran into a real sucker today. This guy said every shop I walked into had to give me their new arrivals for free. Tell me that's not the biggest sucker ever. Lin Jingzhou stopped, his deep gaze locking onto hers as he said bluntly, Ever consider that maybe I'm that sucker? Sue Enin blinked, then burst out laughing. You're kidding, right? If you were that rich, you wouldn't be struggling to pay rent. Just then, a business van pulled up in front of them. Zhang Kai stepped out and asked Lin Jingzhou, what happened? Sue Enin quickly filled him in on what had gone down, and Zhang Kai finally looked relieved. But the very next moment, his expression tightened again. Have you two seen what's going on online? Not yet. Sue Enin instinctively pulled her phone from her pocket. On the show's official account, she and Lin Jingzhou were already getting torn apart by netizens. Lin Jingzhou glanced at the screen, his gaze pausing slightly. The comments were flooded with demands for the two of them to be kicked off the show.